All right, welcome to the 37th meeting of the 35th year of Sugar Land Rotary. This will be the last regular meeting of our Rotary year ending June 30th this year, so my last broadcast, so to speak. It's been a lot of fun. Going to have the invocation by Margie, the pledge by Rick, and the four-way test by Flo. Margie, you're up.
All right, if you will bow your heads with me. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is discord, unity. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is error, truth. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is sadness, joy. Where there is darkness, light. O divine Master, grant that I may not seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Margie. And now we're going to turn it over to Rick to do our pledge, and I will hold up the flag.
There we go. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our recovering country. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States
of America
and to the
republic
for which it
stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. And Flo, four-way test.
All right. Please join me in reciting the four-way test of the things that we as Rotarians think, say, or do. First,
is it the truth?
Second, is it
fair
to all concerned?
Third,
will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Fourth,
will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Sugar Land's fifth,
will it do any good?
Yes.
London Rotary says, what, Todd?
It says, raise your, I can't remember what it is. Raise your glass to the Queen.
God save the Queen.
No, it says, yeah.
Rotary connects the world. I just had to put that in there for you, Raleigh.
Hey, I appreciate that. One more time. That's right. All right. Let's see. Mark Winchester, are you about ready to speak, or do you need a few more minutes?
You hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Hey, that's great. Can you see me as well?
Can't see you yet. Can't see you yet. There you are. I see you now, and I do have a little bit of I have a lot of information on you, and I'm not going to read it all because if I do, I'm afraid we won't have time for your presentation. But you
can just introduce me as deputy director. That's fine. For the sake of time, how about if we just do that?
That sounds like a plan to me. We're really honored to have you with us today. Have a lot of visitors joining us from around the district, which says a lot about everybody's being very excited to hear what you have to say today. Mark Winchester is the Deputy Director of the Houston District Office of the U.S. Small Business Administration and has been with the agency for 10 years. I'm sure he, like some of us CPAs, myself, Carmen Cunio, have been quite busy helping our clients get these loans that have been coming out with all these CARES Acts, and well, not just the CARES Acts, but the other acts as well. So now we're going to turn it over to you, Mark, and let you know see what you have to tell us. And if everybody can please mute themselves so we can hear Mark clearly, that would be great. Thank you.
Well, and it's Raleigh, is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Raleigh, thank you for the introduction, and just want to say thank you to the Rotary for thinking of SBA and inviting us to be a part of your Zoom meeting. So thank you very much. There are a couple of things, Raleigh, and to those of you who are on this Zoom meeting, want to review PPP flexibility, cover some highlights, And then want to mention to you about EIDL. There have been changes regarding EIDL. And then also want to mention to you, there have been some significant changes to the PPP forgiveness, and want to talk about those. And then Raleigh, if they have questions, open it up for, if we have time for questions as well.
Sounds good.
I'm going to see, Raleigh, if I can share my screen, and hopefully that's going to work. And let's see here if I'll try this. Okay, can you see the top 7 updates? Do y'all
Yes,
see
sir.
that? Oh, that's just outstanding. So this is what I want to highlight here, the congressional summary of the PPP update June 5th. So I want to let you know that there was legislation called PPP flexibility that was signed by the president on June 5th. And there are some things that I want to highlight regarding that. One, it establishes a minimum maturity of 5 years for the Paycheck Protection Loan Program. Previously, prior to June 5th, it was 2 years. 2, it extends the cover period for the PPP from 8 weeks to 24 weeks, but not exceeding no later than December 31st, during which a loan recipient may use such funds for certain expenses while remaining eligible for forgiveness. Also, this is for existing PPP borrowers, they may choose instead to continue on the 8-week covered period. Also, this PPP flexibility, this is important to note that the Paycheck Protection Program, the non-payroll portion of the forgivable loan was increased from 25% to 40%. This is significant. In addition to the PPP loan, it's a paycheck protection loan. There is also the opportunity for loan forgiveness. And with this PPP flexibility legislation passed, it increased the non-payroll portion from 25% to 40%. Also, I want you to make note of Safe Harbor. You may be aware of Safe Harbor, and I want to let you know there are some changes to the Safe Harbor. One, it extends the period in which an employer may rehire or eliminate a reduction in employment for salary or wages that would have otherwise reduced the forgivable amount of a Paycheck Protection Program. Previously, the deadline or the date for Safe Harbor was June 30th. This has been extended to December 31st. Also, this is also important, this also expanded the definition of Safe Harbor. These 2 important points I want to highlight to you in how Safe Harbor was expanded. The forgivable amount must be determined without a regard to a reduction in the number of employees if the recipient, 1, unable to rehire a former employee and is unable to hire similarly qualified employees, or 2, unable to return to the same level of business activity due to compliance with federal requirements or guidance related to COVID-19. So 2 important points. 1, Safe Harbor was extended to December 31st, and then 2, expanded what could be included or considered as Safe Harbor. Also, the PPP flexibility revised the deferral period for the Paycheck Protection Loan, allowing recipients to defer payments until they receive compensation for the forgiven amount. Also, recipients who do not apply for forgiveness shall have 10 months from the program's expiration to begin making payments. Finally, the PPP flexibility eliminated a provision that makes a Paycheck Protection Loan recipient who has indebtedness forgiven ineligible to defer payroll taxes. And what this applies to is the Social Security. And if I can scroll up, that last point is in regards to PPP borrowers participating in the deferment of Social Security payroll tax through December 31st, 2020, and they are able now to pay the balance deferred 50% on December 31st, 2021, and 50% on December 31st, 2022. The other thing that I want to highlight, I'm going to stop sharing. If I can do this, I'm going to stop sharing. Now I'm going to go to, give me 1 second. I have 3 screens up, so, and following the mouse on 3 screens. Give me 1 second. Now I'm going to share my screen again. We are now at the, give me 1 second. This is the SBA.gov PPP website. And so just for your information, maybe you haven't applied for PPP. And you know what? I will share this. Raleigh and to the Rotarians, want to let you know there's still approximately $147 billion available in PPP. I just went over the Paycheck Protection Program flexibility and updates on loan forgiveness, but there may be some of you that have not applied for the Paycheck Protection Program. It is a loan program administered by SBA through local lenders up to $10 million. And mainly the intent of the program is so that you can maintain your employees, keeping them on board, keeping them with the company. And want to let you know, if you need more information on PPP or you want to apply for PPP, all you have to do is go to www.sba.gov/PPP. Now, in addition to PPP, which is a $10 million program, the intent of the program is so you can keep your employees. We also have a program, Raleigh, and to your other members, called EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan. This is a program, it is a $2 million program. Unlike the PPP, which you go to a local lender who is offering the PPP program, unlike that program, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program is administered through the Office of Disaster Assistance. So it is a loan directly through SBA. And where you would apply for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan is online. And so you just go to www.sba.gov/disaster. Once there, you click on apply. So you click on apply. What you want to do is scroll down to now accepting new applications for Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And so what you would do is click on right there where my mouse is. Eligible small businesses and agricultural businesses may apply for the Economic Injury Loan Advantage. And you click on here. And so this is the landing page for disaster loan assistance. In addition to the Paycheck Protection Program, that is a $10 million program, SBA has a direct loan program, disaster loan assistance, and this is specifically in response to COVID-19. So you need to be either a small business, a nonprofit, a faith-based organization that was impacted by COVID-19. And they have a loan program that goes up to $2 million. I will also share this with you, Raleigh. In addition to the economic injury disaster loan, the Rotarians, your members, can also apply for an EIDL grant, economic injury disaster loan grant. And I know it sounds like an oxymoron because you got a loan, but within the loan, you have a grant. And the grant, Raleigh, is when you apply for EIDL, you're going to indicate whether you want the EIDL advance. And the EIDL advance is going to be based on number of employees. And the calculation for the size of the grant is $1,000. Excuse me for 1 second.
Sure thing.
It's $1,000 per employee, up to $10,000. So want to share to the Rotarians that in addition to the loan, you have up to a $10,000 grant that you do not have to pay back, which is part of the economic injury disaster loan. And I'll share this, Raleigh. There have been, I mentioned about I mentioned there was 147 billion available in the PPP. I want to let your members know, Rotarians know, that there have been $90 billion in economic injury disaster loans nationwide, and there's still monies available for both the economic injury disaster loan and also the economic injury disaster loan grant that they can apply for. One last thing that I wanted to talk about, Raleigh, before I open it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing again. I'm going to close this website, and I'm going to share again. And hopefully this will work. And let me know, Raleigh, if you can see this page. This is a news release. And Raleigh, I've talked about the PPP flexibility, the changes in the loan forgiveness. I've talked about briefly about economic injury disaster loan. This is an important point, Raleigh. This just came out this morning at 7:30 this morning, and that is, Raleigh, there is now a new EZ loan forgiveness for PPP that has been made available. And I want to let the Rotarians know, not only is there now a new EZ PPP forgiveness application, and it's for those self-employed or who have no employees or did not reduce their salary or wages of their employees by more than 25% and did not reduce the number of hours of their employees or experience reductions in business activity as a result of health directives related to COVID-19 and did not reduce the salary or wages of their employees. If you have a PPP borrower that doesn't fall into one of these categories, you still have the full PPP forgiveness, and it too, Raleigh, has been also updated or streamlined in addition to the EZ application, and wanted to share that with you as well. And Raleigh, I can email this to you, and you know what? Yes, I'll email it to you. Yeah. So
that would be great. I already had somebody just post in the chat asking if they can get a copy of that.
Okay, and so now I'll open it up to questions.
All right. I'll start while other people get ready.
Okay.
I wrote down a few. So just to clarify a couple things on the PPP, if they, originally most of our clients were going for the 8-week forgiveness or 8-week use period of the PPP proceeds. Of course, it just got switched to 24, and you mentioned they can switch, they can stick with 8 if they want to, or they can go with 24. Do they have to wait 24? Meaning, if they use up the proceeds in week 12, can they go ahead and apply then, or do they need to wait until week 24?
Raleigh, great question. And I want to let you know, Raleigh, that we're having every day a management Q&A, and that question came up this morning. And Raleigh, you know, I'm former military. In the Navy, it was called SOP, and the Standard Operating Procedure. And, you know, like the Navy and the SOP, and you know this, Raleigh, we've been getting PPP FAQs, we've been getting PPP IFRs, interim final rules. And so if it's not in writing, Raleigh, I don't, you know, I stick to the guidelines. And
Right.
so the guidelines are you're either 8-week or you can, or if you're a new PPP loan, you're 24-week, or if you're an existing PPP borrower, you can either elect for the 8-week or elect for the 24-week. But your question, Raleigh, is what if I've expended all the funds, can I then apply for loan forgiveness? I would like to get confirmation regarding that. I believe so, but I'd like to get confirmation regarding that. So that,
Okay.
so I'm going to look into that. I've already got that question earlier today, but I'll research that for you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Until someone else chimes in, I'm going to keep asking my questions, but please, anybody on the call, feel free to interrupt me and ask your question. I don't want it to just be me. But my next question is,
Sure.
Last I heard, businesses needed to apply for the PPP by June 30th. Is that still correct?
You know, that's a great question, Raleigh, and that is correct. As it stands right now, all SBA loan guarantees, the deadline is June 30th. And I'll share this, Raleigh, what I've been sharing on the management Q&A, really, and that date of June 30th is the deadline for the SBA note authorization. So you really need to provide the lender some runway to do the underwriting and make a decision on the loan. So really, Raleigh, what I've been sharing with clients, if they want to apply for the PPP, the time is now, and they really should get their application in by June 20th to give their lender enough runway, enough lead time to make a decision on the underwriting so that this is key, so that by June 30th, they've obtained the note authorization. So to be clear, the deadline to get the note authorization from SBA is 11:59 p.m. On June 30th. And I'll share this, Raleigh. Not only is the deadline for note authorization for PPP on June 30th, it's the deadline for all of our SBA loan guarantee programs, including 7A, 504, and SBA Express. So you're absolutely correct, but I would just clarify it's the deadline to get the note authorization.
Okay, and I'm glad you brought that up because now that you mentioned that, I do remember seeing an email last week saying to apply by June 20th to give you a hope of getting approved by June 30th.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And I'll share this. The lenders, because you're working with a local lender, you know, it gives you a little more flexibility. And on average, it is taking clients 5 to 7 business days to submit, provide everything sufficiently so that the lender can make a decision. And I will share this, Raleigh, some SBA lenders that are participating in the PPP program have reached their limit on PPP. So there are some PPP lenders who are no longer taking any more applications. And, you know, give me 1 second, Raleigh, give me 1 second.
Okay.
I just want to show you another website. Give me 1 second.
Raleigh,
Sure thing.
while
Yes.
we're waiting, if you'll notice, there are 2 questions, one from Mike Schaefer and one from Susan Bogovich on the chat.
Yes, I see those and was planning to ask them if no one else chimes in. see. And I might have the answer to one of those questions.
So I'm going to share my screen again. And hopefully this works. Does everyone see the Houston District Office website? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So a couple of things, Raleigh, and to the other Rotarians. I highly recommend, if you have a moment, visit our website for multiple reasons. One, by visiting our website, you can sign up for notices, news releases, press releases, media releases, webinars, any type of notice. You can receive that from us just by visiting our website and signing up to receive notices from SBA. So that's number one. Number two, our resource guide. Everything you wanted to learn about SBA is right at your fingertips with the Houston District Office. And that's where my mouse is, on Houston District Office Resource Guide. Two, and even more importantly, and why I wanted to mention it to you, and you know, here, as I'm scrolling down, you can see email updates. So this is where you would sign up to receive notices from SBA. And right here, webinar schedule. So I do want to click on this. Let me know if you can see this. Can everybody see the webinar schedule?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we have webinars on, you know, let's say you applied for EIDL and you want to apply for reconsideration. Maybe you were declined or denied the EIDL. Well, we have webinars on how to respond to EIDL for reconsideration. We have webinars on COVID-19 and the changing workplace. We have webinars on PPP loan forgiveness. And this is very poignant or very salient with now that the EIDL is available again for small businesses and faith-based and nonprofits. We have the PPP and EIDL overview if you haven't already applied. And I mentioned about the Q&A with management. There's the link for that. And then we have all of these webinars in Spanish. And then you can see bringing back employees. We also have non-disaster webinars, Roadmap to Success, Business Smart, SBA programs and services. Maybe you're interested in federal contracting and want to learn more about our federal contracting programs. We have meetups where you can meet up with our resource partners. So just want to bring to bear to your attention all the various events that we have virtually that you can attend via Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and all of those are available. Also, we have the PowerPoint on SBA PPP forgiveness. But more importantly, Raleigh and to the other Rotarians, wanted to highlight this for you. And let me zoom in, give me 1 second. I hope you can see this. These are SBA lenders, and these are 2019 dollars. But more importantly, if you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth column, it says accepting new clients. So if you have not applied for PPP and you want to apply for PPP and you want to find a lender that doesn't require that you be a member of their bank or doesn't require that you have to get a loan through them already in order to apply for PPP, you can visit our website, pull up this list, and see which lenders are participating in PPP and say yes to new clients just in case you need to go elsewhere to find an SBA lender for the Paycheck Protection Program. As you can see, Allegiance Bank, Amity Bank, let me scroll down, First Financial Bank, First National Bank, keep going here, Plain State Bank, ReadyCap, all these lenders are participating in PPP and don't require that you have already been a member of that financial institution to apply for PPP. And Raleigh, I just wanted to share that with your audience.
Great, thank you.
Okay, and so what other, you mentioned that there were some questions.
Yeah, I was going to read a couple of these to you, questions that have been posted in the chat. The first one is there a deadline to apply for the EIDL grant?
Oh, that's a great question. The deadline for the EIDL grant is December 31st. So unlike the PPP, which has a deadline of June 30th, the deadline for EIDL economic, and I want to clarify here, I need to be clear, this is applying for EIDL for COVID-19. EIDL has always been around. EIDL has been around for decades. EIDL was around for Harvey and for the Memorial Day flood, the Tax Day flood, but it's also been made available for COVID-19. So I want to be clear, the deadline for EIDL for COVID-19, the deadline is December 31st.
Got it, thank you. And another question, and I might have the answer to this, but I'd like to see what you think first.
Okay.
Mike Schaefer mentioned he applied for the disaster loan a while back. He opted in for the advance and received $4,000, and he hasn't heard anything back on the application. Do you know what the approval time is for this?
Great question. So what it is, or what it was, in April, it was taking ODA about 4 weeks for individuals to know whether or not they were approved for the EIDL loan. In May, it increased to about 7 weeks from the date you applied to the time that you got an answer. Right now, Raleigh, it's taking about 6 weeks, and I want to be clear, ODA, boy, my voice. ODA has updated the processing notification. So now, now it's taking 6 weeks from the time you apply to get a phase 2 notification, which will confirm whether you've been declined or if you've been confirmed for a certain amount. So it's taking about 6 weeks to get that confirmation email on, if you're approved, the amount that you've been confirmed for. So does that answer your question?
I believe it does. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Next question.
Hold on, looking at the chat to see if anybody has posted anything. Doesn't look like it, so I'm going to ask you another one of mine.
Okay.
I know there for a few weeks, the EIDL loan app website, it was saying that you could only apply if you were an agricultural business. It looks like that may have changed again from what you just showed us on the website. Is it, who all can apply now?
Great question. So to answer your question, Raleigh, it's the same entities that were eligible to apply when it first became available. And that includes small businesses, nonprofits, and the nonprofits. And you know, to be technical, it's small businesses who meet SBA size standards that do not have more than 500 employees. And Raleigh, it is small businesses, and this applies to all the organizations, all organizations impacted by COVID-19. So number one, they need to have been impacted by COVID-19. Two, they need to have been organizations that were existing prior to January 31st, 2020. And then three, they needed to have been small businesses who meet SBA size standard and do not exceed 500 employees. And then also included, in addition to small businesses, it also included cooperatives, ag cooperatives, nonprofits, including 501c, D, and E, and then also faith-based organizations, small ag cooperatives, And then obviously, well, maybe not obviously, Raleigh, but it still includes ranchers and farmers as well. And I hope I answered your question.
You did. Yes. Thank you. Let's see. I got another question from Jackie. Where's the application for the EIDL? That one is on the SBA.gov website.
Yeah, and I shared it a moment ago, Raleigh. It's the SBA.gov/disaster. And then you click on apply. And then give me 1 second. I'll go back there if I can pull it up.
And a related question while you're pulling that up, Jackie I'm sorry, Susan Bolgowitz is asking how to get the grant part of that EIDL. And I believe there is a box that you check when you're applying for the EIDL loan online where you request the grant. Is that correct?
That's correct. So to the first question, Raleigh, all they need to do is type in SBA.gov and then /disaster. Can you all see the screen?
Yes, we can. I'm gonna take a picture.
Okay, so I'm just gonna repeat that. I'm just typing www.sba.gov/disaster. And when you hit enter, it takes you right to disaster assistance. And then what they want to do, Raleigh, is click on apply for assistance. Now, what they'll want to do, Raleigh, is scroll down to COVID-19. And then right below COVID-19, eligible small businesses and agricultural businesses may apply for loan advance. Click on here. And when you click on there, here's the streamlined application. You can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. And, you know, I will share this, Raleigh. Excuse me 1 second.
Sure.
They really need to be detailed in their answer. Make sure they complete everything. Make sure and that they're precise, Raleigh, because if they make one error, if they, let's say they're listing ownership and they leave out 10% of the ownership, that can stop the application. If Raleigh, they put the wrong bank account, and so the advance goes to the wrong checking account or gets returned, that can stop things. If they don't have the right email address, guess what, Raleigh? They could be approved, and then they'll get an email that says, you've been approved, you need to create a portal, but they put the wrong email address. Well, guess what? That's going to delay things. So when they're completing this application, they need to make sure everything is complete and that it's accurate.
Got it.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Let me just double check the chat real quick. Okay. I would say if anyone else has any more questions, please speak up or post it in the chat and I'll read it for you. And I'm not seeing anything yet, so I do have one last question for you personally.
Okay.
Just in the last probably 2 or 3 days, I've had 3 different clients who recently got their EIDL loans deposited. And they were asking what the guidelines are for what they can use that money for. Guidelines and restrictions, if there are any. Once they get the money for an EIDL loan, are there any restrictions on what they can do with it or any guidelines?
There are, and a couple of things. One, Raleigh, they really need to look at the promissory note and what are the covenants in the promissory note. 2, they need to be aware that the EIDL program is for fixed debts, payroll, accounts payable, and other bills. That's what they want to make sure that they spend the EIDL proceeds on what is eligible to be utilized or spent with those funds. Does that make sense, Ro?
It does. Is there a place on the SBA website that basically recaps what you just said?
Yes, there is, and I will share this, Raleigh. If they attend our idle PPP presentation, that covers the program and how the proceeds need to be spent. So they can visit the website, but I would also recommend they attend one of our webinars, Raleigh, both on the application and on both PPP loan forgiveness and on the idle program. Does that make sense?
It does. Yes.
Okay.
And it looks like we just had one more question come in.
Okay.
If you will, it is, and I kind of had a related thought on this as well. So question is, are there guidelines for the tax ramifications with PPP loan forgiveness? And that's from Dr. Doyle. And what I believe he's asking is, from the intent of Congress, it seems that the forgiveness of the loan is not meant to be taxable income to the businesses. But last I heard, any expenses that PPP loans are used to pay, such as payroll, are not allowed deductible expenses. And if that's true, then effectively it's taxable income by default. Is that still the case, your understanding?
Boy, Raleigh, I'm going to have to defer to CPAs, and I'm going to have to defer to the Internal Revenue Service. That is not an SBA question. That is an IRS or an accountant or a CPA question. I'll have to defer to the experts on that one.
I was afraid you were going to say that. So right now it's still pretty gray. But thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And
Raleigh, I'd like to chime in on that. My guess is that since it's a loan, it's going to be booked as a liability and then a pay down of that liability. So rather than an income and expense. So that's kind of how I see that's going to go down.
Thank you, Carmen.
Raleigh, I can't comment on Carmen's comment, and I can't, interpret that for you. My recommendation, is Internal Revenue Service guidelines.
Got it. Thank you, Mark. If anyone else has any other questions, please speak up. Otherwise, we will let Mark go and move on to our club business.
Okay. Well, Raleigh, I just want to say thank you. And Raleigh, what do I need to email to you again, just to make note of?
I believe it was the information on the loan forgiveness application, the new one, both the easy form as well as the long form.
Okay. Okay. Well, I want to say thank you so much for inviting SBA, for thinking of us, and allowing me to be a part of your meeting for 42 minutes and 13 seconds.
It was a really informative call. I think everyone really enjoyed it. I know I did. Thank you for joining us, Mark.
All right, thank you so much. And I'll end it on this, Raleigh. I have been to in person with other Rotarians. I know, do they call them chapters?
Clubs.
Or
call them clubs.
Okay, so I want to let you know I've been to other Rotarian clubs. And so my point is, if at some point you'd like for us to come back and talk about our other programs, we'd be glad to do that, Raleigh, besides the PPP and IDLE, but maybe our loan programs, exporting, we would be glad to come back and share with you about our other programs, Raleigh.
I think we will definitely plan to take you up on that. Thank you for the offer.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye. All right. Now I'm going to turn it over, if he is ready, Todd, to introduce our Rotarian of the Month.
Thanks, President Raleigh. This month's Rotarian, for those that weren't able to attend our first couple of meetings this month, I want to go ahead and go over a little background about our Rotarian of the month. This Rotarian of the month is very active in our community. This Rotarian is a graduate from Xavier University with this distinguished honor of magna cum laude, and the University of Cincinnati Law School with the distinguished honor of summa cum laude. This Rotarian has 2 daughters and 1 son, both successful in what they do. This Rotarian is also dedicated to their family, friends, and community service. The Rotarian grew up in Cincinnati suburbs, has 2 brothers, and attended a all-girls Catholic school. This Rotarian enjoys working out. Every day is one routine or another. The Rotarian of the month is doing online workouts since the club they normally instruct at is closed. This Rotarian likes cycling, spin biking. The Rotarian likes to travel, hike in Colorado, tasting wine, watching movies, and reading books, and is an avid baseball fan. One thing that some people may not know about this Rotarian is they completed an Ironman race. So if you could please help me in congratulating June's Rotarian of the Month, Margie Conley.
Congratulations, Margie. Well earned.
Thank you.
All right, last time for this fiscal year, I'm going to see if any of our service chairs have anything to share with us. That would be Darla, Dr. Doyle, Allison, Ward, or Lynn. If you have anything to share with us, please speak up.
Okay, I do. I'll go first. We have our installation is going to be this coming Tuesday. If you have not RSVP'd, please RSVP today, like in the next few minutes. I have to get a head count in by this afternoon. If you're on the maybe list or you haven't RSVP'd, you will be getting a call from me so I can verbally hear what's going on. We want to make sure that we count heads. Texas Safari is doing a lot to keep us COVID safe, and we want to respect them and all their efforts to make sure that they have enough tables and spaced out properly. So if you haven't RSVP'd, just go ahead and do that. Or I get to call you in a little while and see how you're doing.
Thank you, Darla.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Going, gone. Going to turn it over to Margie then to tell us about our COVID-19 projects.
Okay. If you can see the sign behind me, this is our yard sign that we still have some left that we are selling for $25 to put in your yard to acknowledge our frontline workers who have been working hard during COVID. The money raised is going to go to our club to support ongoing projects that we are doing, also to support COVID, one of which is the famous Rotary face mask.
Looking good, Margie.
Thank you. And we still have some of these left as well. So if you have an organization that you want to donate some to, let me know. We can donate them. If you want to purchase one to help with our fundraising efforts, we're asking for $15 for the mask and then $25 for the yard sign. We have plenty of both left. We'd really like to find some more organizations to donate some of these masks to as well. We've already donated to Sugarland Police, Sugarland Fire Department, Meals on Wheels, the Arc of Fort Bend, the Cody Stevens Project, and a few others. Ricardo's PCPPA, I don't remember what all the acronym is for his, but he does a lot of charity work, and including food distribution for kids right now. And so we've given some to him for the food distribution people to use when they need to wear masks to protect others. And it also, obviously advertises our club. So if you need any more information on those, contact Raleigh or me, and we will get you hooked up with one or the other or both of our remaining efforts. We've already given away 270 gallons of hand sanitizer to police and fire and local charities, and we have given away meals to emergency room and ICU COVID unit workers at Sugarland Methodist and Sugarland Memorial Hermann Hospital. So we have been doing a lot in our community to try and make some of our community members feel a little more loved, a little less stressed during these difficult times. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Margie. Todd, do you have anything you want to share before we wrap up?
Yes, one thing. As some of you may know, but if you don't, one of our fundraising efforts this year is going to be doing a virtual running series. So our first race is Run for the Heroes. If you are interested in walking it or running it, the website is Sugarland Rotary 5K and .com, and on that site is the link to register. We should have a medal available that we can show in our next meeting, so you can kind of see the cool medal. But if you look at the logo on that page, that's what the medal is going to look like. So anyways, that will be run. To get the medal and a shirt, you'll need to complete the run between July 25th and August 2nd. We'll also have another virtual race in the fall, and then one before the holidays. And then the final race of the series will be, hopefully, knock on wood, in person at the University of Houston. And those that complete all 4 races will get a 5th medal. So that's all I had, Raleigh.
All right. Thank you, Todd. Looks like Bill Griffin.
Well, I have a question. Todd, you said it's a virtual race. So can we just sign up and watch it and qualify?
No, it doesn't. You can sign up if you want, and watch it if you want, but.
Great question, Bill. Heidi, my wife, already let me know that it would be okay for us to walk it. So we're not gonna break any records, but we'll get it done. All right. Before we wrap, does anybody else have any other business for the good of Rotary?
Well, I have a sunshine. I know we're not doing that, but I have a great sunshine I'd like to share.
Let's hear it.
My daughter got engaged this weekend.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
So, I'm open to any advice to anyone that has gone this path before. So I'm just super excited. You know how much I love my girl, so I'm so proud. So get ready for all the fun that we're going to have. You are going to be invited. So
great. Thank you, Darla. Congratulations. I just posted, by the way, I've had a few clients who applied for EIDL loans, like someone in our chat had mentioned, and hadn't heard anything and were wondering if they could get a status update. And I've had several clients call 800-659-2955. That's 800-659-2955. It's also in the chat. To get a status update, and lo and behold, every time they do that, they tend to get a fairly quick turnaround on actually getting that loan. So I think it does help to make that phone call if you have applied and haven't heard anything back.
I'll do a sunshine too, if I can, quick.
Please do, yes.
Just real quick. Mark? I know, again, we're not doing it, but my son did graduate from college on Saturday, so that was exciting.
Hey. So, congratulations.
It wasn't easy doing it virtually, but it worked out, and we celebrated together. So
good. Congratulations. Well, shoot, we're on a trend now. Does anybody else have any sunshines or showers that they'd like to share with us? If so, unmute yourself. Let us know.
Yes, I will.
Hey.
If I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little over a week ago, our son, we were blessed with our newest grandson. William James Griffin, named after his pa and his grandpa. So,
nice.
Very nice.
And didn't you just have another one a few weeks ago as well?
Last month, yes.
Last
so
month.
We now have 13 grandchildren.
Wow. Congratulations.
Amazing.
You have enough family, Bill. You can start your own town.
Yeah.
And I'm only 45 years old. That's
I know.
Start your own Rotary club.
Hey, there you go.
Griffin.
All right. I also see in the chat, Todd posted the website to the 5K, sugarlandrotary5k.com, in case anybody wants to go check it out. And I believe Tracy Walker was giving us hand signals. Did you have anything to share with us, Tracy?
Yes, I have a huge sunshine. Of course, our youngest graduated high school. We had a family gathering at my home last Saturday, and her mom brought her boyfriend and his kids over, and then we get a text message that he has fever, and so we were running scared for about a week. Then we got confirmation that he does have COVID,
Ooh.
and it's been within 14 days he was at my home. So we went to St. Michael's yesterday. They are freaking amazing. So if you have to go get tested, St. Michael's, you get it in 15 minutes to an hour, depending on how busy they are. And it was negative.
Yay.
Congratulations.
So it's, even family gatherings, guys, I hate to say this because I am not a fearful one. It's just be careful.
Yeah.
So, yay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sunshine or shower? Doesn't sound like it. All right. Well, we had a lot of guests today. I want to thank all the different members of various Rotary clubs that joined us today. I know we had a number from Tom Ball. Thank you, Tom Ball, for joining us. Thank you, Russell Blue, for passing that information on to everybody. Great program, great year. This is our last regular meeting of this fiscal year. It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to miss it. The good news for everybody in Sugar Land Rotary is Todd's taking over in just a couple weeks, and I'm sure he's going to make me look poor. So thank you, Todd. Appreciate that.
And I would like to say one thing, Raul, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
I just want to personally thank you, and I'll thank you at the installation dinner for a remarkable job you did this year. We had an excellent fundraising effort, and considering all the changes that happened so quickly with us, you really stepped up to the plate, and your leadership has been incredible. And thank you for all you do.
Well, thank you, Todd. Thank you, Todd. And thank you for all your help with the fundraiser. It was, you spearheaded that and made it happen. So thank you. All right. Well, if no one else has any other business for the good of Rotary, we will adjourn. Please do plan to join us either in person or via Zoom if you want to prefer to do Zoom and be safe from home for our installation banquet next week. And with that, I'll ring the bell and hope to see y'all in person or virtually next week. Bye, guys. Have a good rest of the week.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.